If you want to have crazy forearms and you want to have an easier time while doing muscle ups on the rings or even slow-mo muscle ups on the bar, then you can't avoid the false grip. If you've never heard about this type of grip, or you may know it but you're not able to do it, in this video I'm going to tell you all you need to know. The false grip is a special type of grip that gymnasts use on the rings, but calisthenics and street workout athletes also do it on the bar, for example, while doing slow motion muscle up or hefesto. The point of the false grip is to make the transition from hanging to support easier, or we could say possible, and with shortening the length of the arms, hence the leverage, make some static skills easier to do. That few inches matter a lot that you get for the iron cross, Maltese or inverted cross while doing them with the false grip, it makes them significantly easier. Even if points are deducted from the routine, if gymnasts do the strength skills like this, they still use it. On the other hand, for the reason I've just mentioned, some gymnasts do the skills with perfect form and even releasing the rings with their fingers while supporting on their palms.
Great position. Look at he opens his hands like that. He's telling the judges, my wrists are not on the rings. He is not shortening that lever arm to make the strength parts easier.
So shortening the leverage and make skills easier is one function of the false grip, but the other one, the transition, is the one you'll probably use the most. Especially since the muscle up is an exercise of CrossFit as well that many people do, and if you're one of them who is looking forward to learn the strict muscle up, the following method will help you a lot. For the strict muscle up, you simply can't avoid the false grip. Without this, the right execution is impossible unless you have a really slippery grip. Without the false grip, you can only do the muscle up with some momentum, with skipping the control transition part, which is an execution with compromises. I've already talked about the technique and key points of the muscle up on all equipment, so I won't deep dive into these. Now we're focusing only on the false grip itself. How the false grip should look like. The point of this grip is that the rings are not in your palms as in a normal grip, but below your wrist line. To understand this, place your hands in front of you with your palms looking up and do wrist flexion, so bend your wrist towards your elbows. Your wrist line is where your wrist is bent. The ring should take place right above that line. After you grab the rings like this, fold your fingers around them with your thumbs being separated. The ring should go through diagonally in your palm from between your index finger and thumb to the bottom of the outer side of your palm. Here you can feel a bone which called the pisiform bone. You need to hang on that on the ring. While doing this will feel like your hands are hooks, but it's important to grab the rings with your thumbs as well, don't forget that. If you need it, use chalk because your hands can slip out very easily. In the beginning, it will be uncomfortable and the rings will pull your skin, it may be even tear. After time, you may experience calluses if you'll use it frequently. To make this process as smooth and painless as possible, I show you 5 simple steps how you can reach the perfect false grip. But before that, let's talk about some preparation, because it's possible that you can't even get into the false grip because your wrists are not flexible enough. If you want to make the false grip as comfortable and easy as possible, you need a good wrist flexion mobility. To have this, you need to stretch the extensor muscles of your forearms. Do it on a soft surface, get into kneeling support, and draw circles with your upper body above your wrists on the back of your hand with locked elbows. Even if you feel this difficult in the beginning, it will improve over time. You can start by putting less weight on your hands, but on your legs, this is how you can decrease the intensity. Do 5 to 10 circles each way after the general warm-up as part of your prehab routine. Besides the right flexibility, strength is also important for the false grip. We will build up the strength with specific progressions, but it's good to have a basic strength which you can improve with palm pulses. You can do this exercise in kneeling support as you did with the mobilization. Support on your hands with forward-looking fingers, and from here, elevate your palms with keeping your fingers on the ground except your thumbs. Keep your elbows locked and do controlled reps. If you want to increase the intensity, you can do it in kneeling push-up position, then in push-up position. As a transition, you can do the reps alternately in the harder progressions, so you won't put sudden load on your wrists. Do 10 to 15 reps on your level. Now, as you know the preparations, let's see the progressions of the false grip that will help you to get strong enough to do the muscle ups or even rolls on the rings with no issues. The first progression is really gentle. Here, you need to do the false grip with one hand and your other hand will assist with a normal grip. Set the ring in chest height where you can reach it easily. Grab the ring as I described before. In the beginning, you can do this with grabbing the ring on the side with your hand being in 45 degrees, and again, the ring should go through diagonally in your palm. If you grab the ring like this on the side, from here you can turn it down, and there you go, you have the false grip. You can use this technique with all the other progressions as well, but after time you'll be able to grab the rings like this automatically. So if you have the false grip with one hand, just grab the top of the ring with your other hand with normal grip and pull yourself to the ring in bent arm hang. This is a great way to introduce the false grip, get comfortable with it and move forward. If you can hold it for 30 seconds each hand, you're ready for the next progression. After you get comfortable with the previous progression, the next step is the bent arm false grip. This is basically the end point of the full range of motion pull-up with the false grip you did in the previous progression. Get into the false grip the same way as you did before. Pull the rings to your chest, then elevate your feet from the ground. The goal is to do 30 seconds hold, and if you have that, step to the next progression. In this progression, you need to do inverted rows with false grip. This is a great transition between the bent arm and straight arm hang, plus you'll get the feeling of how to do pull-ups with the false grip. You can do any progression of the inverted row, but obviously, the harder progression you do eventually, the easier the transition will be to the next step. Set the rings according to the progression you do, grab the rings with false grip, and strive to do 10 to 15 rows in order to step to the next progression. If you completed the previous progressions, then you're ready to do the false grip with your full body weight with straight arms. In the beginning, of course, you can assist with your legs, set the rings according to that, and as you feel comfortable, you just elevate your feet off the ground and hold the false grip in full passive hang. The goal is to do 30 seconds hold, and if you have that, you're ready for the last progression. You will own the false grip once you can do pull-ups with it. If you have that in the full range of motion, then you only need to know the right technique and you have the rings muscle up. To be able to do pull-ups with the false grip, of course you need a basic strength, same as for the inverted rows. If you don't have that, you can check out my previous videos about the basics. But if you have the basic strength, then chalk up, grab the rings and do pull-ups in the full range of motion. Don't forget, you don't own the range that you don't use. If you want to do the muscle up, you need full range of motion pull-ups. If you can do even only 5 to 6 pull-ups with the right execution, then you're ready for the muscle up. So I recommend to practice the false grip on the rings first because it's much more comfortable and easier, and only after that practice on the bar. Once you have the false grip on the rings, you can build it up the same way on the bar, which will be a little more uncomfortable since the bar is straight, but with the following steps you can get it pretty fast after you have it on the rings. First, you can do the mixed grip version if you need that. After that, you can do bent arm hanging, then inverted rows, full passive hang, and eventually pull-ups. An extra tip that can be useful, you can use for any progression on the bar, is to use a tennis or lacrosse ball and use your hands as hooks. You can use the same holding times and reps I've mentioned on the rings, and if you get to the end, the goal is to do full range of motion pull-ups. After that, you will be really close to the slow motion bar muscle up, for which you can find a dedicated video on the channel. If you want to start training based on a complete system which based on gymnastics, you want to follow along specific plans for joint preparation, basic strength and skills from beginner to the advanced level, click the link below and get started today. I can help your journey personally in our private group. You can ask me anytime, even on the weekly live Q&As. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did so, please like, share and write a comment what do you want to see in the next videos. If you don't want to miss the new videos, subscribe with notifications on and see you next week in the next video.